Hello and welcome. We're going to be talking about Duo security that is in the in the market right now because of the COVID-19 scenario, because of coronavirus. Stay safe, guys, and stay at home. Okay, so what is the actual problem? Why do they need this? Why do we all need this Duo? This is very interesting, actually. I just found it to be very interesting in the fact that I've been using AnyConnect all day long with only my username and password, and it did not occur to me that you know what, if anyone has that username password, they could quite log in and access anything that I can. Okay, so here's an example. There is this employee called Fahim, and there is one called Tavish. And Fahim has its own credential. I'll be just saying that when this COVID-19 hit, these guys were given their own AnyConnect usernames. These are the usernames, Tabish and Fahim, and their respective passwords were given to them. So they were all connecting hunky dory, and Tabish could access one server, I would say this server, and Fahim could access the other one. Tabish was allowed to access the other server. Sorry about that. Okay, so Tabish had the privilege to access both the servers. So now, for some reasons, Fahim just got in and just eavesdropped on Tabish's conversation, or maybe somehow got the password of Tabish. Now, what Fahim could do, he could log in via Tabish's credentials and could access both the servers, because Tabish couldn't, do anything about it. Tabish wouldn't even know that somebody has logged in. So, what do we need? All of this is done via one-factor authentication, meaning that you are just granted one screen instead of saying username and password, and you have to put in your username and password, and you're in. You're just in. The two-factor authentication that Duo comes up with is something very unique, and it says that whenever Tabish is going in, or even Fahim is going in towards connecting with the AnyConnect, I'm going to send that specific person a push or a notification. Means if Fahim is accessing Tabish's credentials, he's using his username and password, what's going to happen is this mystical proxy server that we'll be looking at in a moment is going to send a query towards its cloud, and the cloud is gonna notify Tabish, hey, you know what, you've just logged in, is it you or not? If it's you, then kindly just click the green bar, and if it's not you, you click the red bar and tell us, is it a fraud? If it isn't you, then it's a fraud, right? Or maybe you just did it by mistake. So now it's your call what you do with that. So this is a base I would call it like use case of this Duo, and there are many use cases. It works not only with Cisco, it works with Microsoft. Okay, how it works, this is what we're gonna be looking at right now. We're gonna have Zahir with us, and he's gonna connect to his company's firewall via AnyConnect VPN client, and the client is going to give him a username and password, possibly a group, and he's going to type in, okay, my username is here, and my password is X, Y, and Z, whatever it is. Now the firewall gets it and sends it to its proxy server, what we call as Duo proxy server. And in turn, these usernames need to exist in your organization, so your Active Directory might already have them. So Duo is gonna add some external authentication method, and that's gonna be via AD. So this username is gonna get towards the proxy server, that is Duo proxy. The proxy is gonna proxy it towards the AD with obviously its administrative credentials, and once accept or reject message comes back from the AD server, it is gonna send it to the cloud, its Duo cloud, and see if you have a username that is already created with the name of Zahir, and if it is there, Zahir is gonna be prompted with a Duo push notification that's saying Do you want to accept it or deny it? Is it you or is it not? Basically, that's what it's trying to say. And Zahir is gonna say, you know what, it's me. So I'm just gonna hit this reddish greenish icon and say, you know what, that's me, and it's gonna reply back towards the Duo proxy, and then the radius request that the firewall just created towards the Duo proxy is gonna get a reply back, and then in turn the user is gonna be user's credentials are gonna be accepted. Okay, this is the lab that we're gonna be doing. This is my little topology that I have just created, and based on this topology, we're gonna be having the Duo proxy and the AD server on one physical server, and we're gonna have one VLAN that is dedicated for the internal network, and one VLAN is dedicated for the outside portion. This is the outside, and this is the green one is the inside portion. And this is me. Above all of them is me. It's gonna be my AnyConnect user, and I'm gonna be connecting this private IP. Normally it's gonna be a public IP, but as this is a lab setup, so I'll be connecting towards the private IP address. Okay, so first off, we're gonna be going toward the duo.com homepage, and if you don't have a trial account, you can make a trial account. We just made it like 8 days back, so we already have it, and we have some users there as well. So we're just gonna be logging in, and after the login, it's gonna be prompting me. I may have to hide my username password, but I may not hide it. So that's just the company I work in, so that's not an issue for me. So it's continue, hitting continue, and the password already is there. And this is the admin account. This is basically an account. If you're a Windows guy, you know there is an administrative password for your Windows, and then you have all those users that you create. This is the administrator as like logging in to a Windows server. And as you can see, it also has Duo pushes and text messages services for its admin guys as well. So not only for the clients, but also for the admin guys. This is the admin panel. Now you can see a lot of things here right now. The first off, if you go with this, like configuring this part, it's gonna be a little hard for you. But the only thing you need to know is, you go to users. For a base understanding, you have to go to the users and create a user. Actually, I'll be showing you how to create a user. You just say, okay, I'm gonna be creating user like Asim. Note that it said should match the primary authentication username. Means if you are authenticating like here, if you're authenticating from an AD, where is it? So 1 second. If you are authenticating from an AD like here, the username, oh, where's my pen? Okay, the username Zahid should be same between them. I mean, like if you have a username Zahir in AD, the same user should be created on the cloud as well. It should be Zahir. The spellings should not mismatch. So this is what he's trying to say. Okay, awesome. So so we got some user aliases, full name. The most important thing is the email address. Once I type in the email address, asim@hotmail.com, maybe it's just a made-up email address, so I'm not sure. So I'm leaving all other things as it be. So just save the changes, and I have the user created. Now I can send an enrollment email to this guy, which doesn't really exist, but I could send an enrollment email to this guy and say, you know what, register with me. So they're gonna get an email message pop up on their mobile phones, and what's gonna happen is they're gonna be going through a QR code, and they're gonna be scanning that QR code, and they have registered themselves. So for now, I'm not gonna be doing anything with this. I already have an Ahmed username and password account running. So this was the user part. And that's it for the user part. This is a basic deployment as you could get. There are many other things that we could cover, sorry, but I'm not doing that. So after that, we have applications. We go to applications, and this is the protection mechanism, as in these are APIs. Like I'm gonna be using Cisco Radius. This is an API that's gonna be used on the proxy server to communicate with its cloud. If I do a protect, I already have this as a protect, so I won't be using this. 3 key components that you need to see that what you have. This should be resolvable from the proxy server. If you like in our deployment, it's gonna be a proxy server. This domain should be resolvable. The integration key will be placed on that proxy server, and so will be the secret key. Only 3 main components are here that you are of a concern. And if you need to go to the documentations, you can go to the documentations of Cisco Radius ASA VPN instructions. And it takes a bit of time actually to get to know all of these documentation and things. Okay, so once I have this, I already have an application here. Let me just show you. I could change it. I could change the name. Then it's called the Docs VPN. I just changed the name, and by default it is a Radius ASA VPN that I'm using. So these are the 2 basic components that I needed to do on the cloud. I already have these 2 components on the cloud. I'll just make this page open. I'll just make it okay. I have the page open with me, and now I'm gonna be going towards my slide again, and I'm going to be showing you what other component I need to take care of. Okay, the cloud has been taken care of. Now it's time for the dual proxy to set it up. How do we set it up? Let's see that. So I'm going to be remote desktoping towards my Windows Server 2012. I have this over here listed. Now, what I'm going to be doing in that documentation page, you're going to find a dual proxy. That's an .exe file. That is basically a service that will be running on your server. So I'm going to be running that right now. It'll take just a second because it's a service, so you're not going to be getting like a GUI type thing. It's going to be only it will run or it will not run, that kind of thing. And you could do a little bit stuff with the CLI. Now to make it, if you've been into the services panel ever before in your life, you know that almost everything that Windows does has a service running at the back end, and it just like automatically runs when it's time to run. Now similar to the case with the dual proxy, we're gonna be having a dual security authentication that's set to automatic. If it's stopped, you have to start it, and I'm starting it, and that's pretty much it with that. Maybe it won't start at first because of this dual authentication proxy settings that we have. Now I want you to take a snapshot of this because what I'm going to be showing you is really important of setting up of the proxy. If you don't have any of these parameters, if you have any of these parameters missing, I'm going to show you a small tool that dual proxy comes up with, and it's going to tell you that, hey, this tool is missing, this line is missing, or you've just typed a minus instead of an underscore. It's going to tell you all those things, and it's very, very good. I've seen that. Okay, first is the AD client. The name stands for Active Directory client. So my Active Directory client is on 192.168.222.254. The service account is administrator. That is the account, and the password is Cisco@1234. Search DN. This is my doctornetworks.net. Actually, no, it's not .net. It's .com for this specific deployment of the Active Directory server. And then I have a Radius client. Okay, first off, I want you to look at this part. This part is the firewall part. You have your ASA firewall, and it's on what IP address? it's gonna be on 192.168.222.100. If you haven't seen that image that I just showed you of my topology, go ahead and look at it. 222.100, and the secret key is secret, and the client it's gonna be using for any requests that I get from this guy. I'm gonna cross authenticate via the AD, and these are 3 parameters that I just showed you on the Duo Cloud page. This is for authenticating and to make the proxy work, because it needs to know what on the cloud I'm connecting to. So these 3 parameters are the same. If I show you right now, this is the integration key, and the next is the secret key. It doesn't show up unless you pop and select. And then we have the API host name. So we have that set up, and the next thing we need to see is what do we need to see? Okay, so we need to see if it's working or not. If everything is accurate, this administrative password and the secret, all of these. Now the key to getting to see if your configuration on your proxy server is correct, first of all, hit save. Don't forget that. The key is to go towards C drive and program files, do authentication .bin, not .bin, I've been used to the iOS, so that's why I said .bin. Go to command prompt, type in change of directory, paste, and type Duo, not authentication proxy connectivity tool. This is the troubleshooting tool that the Duo proxy comes up with. Now if I hit enter, it's gonna see first if there is any syntax error in your configuration, and the second, can it reach that duosecurity.com, that API name or not. So it can do both. That's great. If it can do both, you have all the greens, then you have everything running and everything in place. Now it's time to go to the ASA firewall. Time to hit the firewall. That's my favorite part, actually. Come on, security, open up. Okay, there it is. I'll be saying 192.168.19. What was it? 199? I think so. It's a Cisco, the old famous Cisco password. So first of all, a basic connectivity test. A basic connectivity test. Let me just put this up. Okay, between 192.168.222. First of all, the proxy and the AD both are residing on the 254 IP address, so both are pingable. Now, the only configuration to be done along with the AnyConnect is server, AAA server. This is a AAA server. We're just adding it as a AAA service. So first off, what I did is created a group called Duo Radius, and inside of that group, I basically said this is gonna be the IP address of the server. Timeout is gonna be 60. Key is gonna be that secret. And authentication port, very important, because the ASA defaults to 1645 port number. It doesn't default to 1812, and the Duo proxy only listens on 1812. So no MS tab, no Microsoft tab is being used, so that's why we'll be disabling that. So one other thing is you have to increase the AnyConnect timeout. And I'm not going to be showing you that here, because if you go to the Duo proxy setup here in the in the Radius ASA VPN, it's going to be using ASDM to do that. But if you're testing it out, it's not really necessary that you must have a 60-second interval. If you're doing this deployment on a very production environment, it's very much recommended that you must have that AnyConnect timeout towards 60 seconds at least. So let's test our AAA test. Oh, sorry. So we're gonna test our AAA configuration, and if everything is working fine, if we could reach the duo proxy, if the duo proxy could authenticate via the Radius server, and can the duo proxy reach its cloud. Let me just give me a second. I'll just pop up and get my phone running. I'll be showing you my phone screen in a second. Okay, so just popping my screen up now. Where is it? Oh god, one second. So here it is. I got my phone screen coming up, and this is via app called Visor, if you're wondering about that. Okay, so we're gonna be coming up to this phone again and again. So I'm gonna be using Trust AAA authentication. I'm gonna testing the authentication of the server called duo_radius, and the host is gonna be 192.168.222.254, and I'm gonna be using username of Ahmed, password of Cisco @1234. Now, if everything is working fine, which I am not really sure about, if everything's working fine, I'll be getting a request on my phone, which I am not getting any requests for some reasons. All right, come on. What's happened? Can't you read it? I don't think so. It can't reach anything. So yeah, just give me a minute. Actually, I'll just be seeing if there's anything wrong. Okay, I just went deep and I just realized that I was amending my notepad file that was on desktop, and it wasn't actually on the actual folder of where it should be. It should be on the program files 86, do a proxy, and the conf folder, and this is where it should be. I was opening it from this side on the desktop, so that's why I was seeing not the results I needed. So you just have to copy and paste this towards this folder, and once you do that, you need to restart the services. You have to go into the services menu, and you need to stop it and then start it again. That's it. So now what you're gonna be seeing is a dual proxy authentication. Let me show you. Okay, here it is. There's an ad coming up. Give me a second. Come on. Okay, so here it is. So now if I test it, if I test the AAA configuration authentication, let's check out what happens. Here is the duo request. I'm gonna be opening this now. For some reasons, you can't see this page right now because it's colorful, because Visor doesn't allow it maybe. So I'm just pressing approved, and it's approved now. I had the same page. I'll just test it again and hit it from the notifications bar. So I got this approval request. I'm hitting approve, and once I do approve, authentication is successful. This is the simplest way of testing if you don't have any connect running, but I sort of have any connect also with me. So let me show you. This is not the IP. This is the IP address. Connecting towards the IP address now, and oh no. It's gonna be a long walk or short pier again. Give me a second, man. I need to add a route. Okay, so if we're back, I just added a route because of my funky topology that I have to have a route in my Windows before I can go and connect to the VPN. So I'm doing that. I'm connecting to my VPN, and I have my Visor running on the background. My Android phone actually running on the background. Let me just say connect anyway. the Dr. VPN, I'm going to be saying Cisco and Ahmed both have the same usernames, device configured with it. So Ahmed Cisco at their 1 2 3 4. Fingers crossed. Okay, typing okay. Oh, there it is. Now I hit approve, and I had just hit approve, and it's connecting towards the VPN. Now let's do a decline message, shall we? And let's see what happens. Or shall we not? Let's do a disconnect, and we could just do a decline here from here. Now it's authenticating again, and I'm gonna be hitting decline. I'm hitting decline. So it's asking me, is it a fraud? If it's a fraud, you're gonna get the admin is gonna get an email address and with an IP address of the AnyConnect user. If it's by AnyConnect, this is obviously a test run, and it could be a mistake as well. So I'm gonna be saying it was a mistake, and see here, rejected. So we got a reject message. So this is how it works. It's gonna be working the same way with the AnyConnect as well. Thank you so much for your time and patience, and this is how you actually do it. A lot of troubleshooting steps inside, and remember that Duo Proxy software that we run that resides inside the Duo Proxy folder. This is the folder .bin, and this is the Authentication Proxy, Auth Proxy connectivity tool. Very important and very handy tool. Thank you so much for your time. Bye bye.